seem to be back. Testing, can everyone hear me? So I will indulge a couple of more comments, but then we need to get back to business at hand and vote on the ordinance as amended. Who else wanted to comment? Alderman McGee, I believe you had asked.
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead, please.
I think that we only know what's in front of us, and when I looked at the budget, next to director, it had $72,000 for a salary, and that's why I'm placing my vote on the information I had in front of me.
Okay, we went from nobody having the budget to now. Would members of the board care to comment on that figure in your budget?
I believe I commented on the figure. That number is it's the bucket from which we will take salary increases and other, perhaps our budgeting is, what was the word Kim used? I can't even remember. Unusual, and perhaps, we need to reevaluate that, which we can't. But that is the bucket from which we will take money to do improvements, to do salary increases for anyone who needs one, including the minimum wage statute.
Okay, was there someone else on the line that wished to make a comment?
Snow would like to make a comment.
Please proceed, Alderman Snow.
Again, I would encourage all of you, like I go and attend their meetings, and they're on Zoom at this point, but I've attended the meetings for eons, and I can tell you, based on what I know, that their intention is not to just carte blanche give the new director $18,000 in the salary increase. It is a pool of money for which they need to operate that portion of their existence with financing the employees. They have a number of people that are on minimum wage that are going to constantly have to go up. And people that are there are going to need to be incrementally pushed up as well. And I will caution you, for all the people that may just start throwing out their no votes, we wound up in a pickle the one year Alderman Stevens led the charge with saying no, and the next thing you know, we had to have a special meeting in order to scramble in order to have a levy at all. And so be careful of just saying no, because you're going to wind up putting us in a world of hurt. Not only will we be $6 million short, we could also be on the hook potentially for the library's ask of the $700,000+ that money we wouldn't have because we didn't get any kind of levy. So I would caution you just carte blankly saying no to this. It's
Okay.
$18,000, and this assumes that the current rate of the taxing causes $1 increase per resident or household. You're not looking at the end of the world, and this isn't worth getting all worked up. It is not just a smoke and mirror thing just to create noise in order to validate their increase. These people need an increase, and we keep jacking this around, and it's not good. And we all look bad when we just keep trying to do that under some premise we're not going to raise taxes. That's all.
In defense of your comment about Alderman Stevens, it was not his intent to put us in that position on that vote previously that we had to have an emergency meeting.
Mr. Mayor,
It's just how it happened. Yes.
if I may, though, because Alderman Stevens' point, I think, is actually a good one that I'm not sure, I'll make sure the entire council understands. We are now voting on the entire levy, including the city's levy. If the levy is not approved at this point, we have no operating funds next year whatsoever coming out of property taxes. So if a no vote, if this fails, means you're voting down not just an increase, you're voting down any tax levy whatsoever, and we will not have operating funds in the city of Belvedere for the next year.
Is everyone clear on that? Because we have an amendment approving the library's ask. We are still voting on the entire budget, which is a flat ask for the city of Belvedere.
Right.
As amended means including the increase for the library, but no increase for the city of Belvedere. And the city attorney is absolutely right. If we vote this down, we have no budget, and we cannot operate. So, again, the motion on the floor now is to approve the amended motion as stated. All those in favor will, when your name is called, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay.
McGee,
Aye.
Porter,
Aye.
Ratcliffe,
Aye.
Snow,
Aye.
Stevens,
Aye.
Arivalo,
Aye.
Brereton,
No.
Flurry,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
Freeman,
No.
8 in favor.
Ordinance 511H, second reading, an ordinance levying taxes for all corporate purposes, City of Belvedere, Boone County, Illinois, for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2020, and ending April 30th, 2021, as amended, is approved. Brings us to item B, ordinance 512H, a second reading, an ordinance making a levy and providing for a special service area number 2 tax in the City of Belvedere, Boone County, Illinois, for the tax year, fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2020, and ending April 30th, 2021. I'll entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion by Porter. May I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
Second by Arivalo. Questions, comments concerning the motion now on the floor?
I have a question.
Please proceed.
Yeah, Becky, just for the people at home, can you explain what the special service areas 2 and 3 are?
Sure. This is your Farmington and Farmington East. This is the money that is used for the city to maintain the ponds and do all the mowing in those areas.
Thank you.
Additional questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval of the motion now on the floor will, when your name is called, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay.
Porter,
Aye.
Ratcliffe,
Aye.
Snow,
Aye.
Stevens,
Aye.
Arivalo,
Aye.
Brereton,
Aye.
Flurry,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
McGee,
Aye.
10 in favor.
Motion is approved unanimously. Next up, under item C, we have ordinance 513H, a second reading. It's an ordinance making a levy and providing for a special area number 3 tax in the City of Belvedere, Boone County, Illinois, for fiscal year beginning May 1, 2020, and April 30th, 2021. May I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Arivalo, may I have a second? Second by Fleury. Questions, comments, or further discussion concerning the motion now on the floor? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval will, when your name is called, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay.
Ratcliffe,
Aye.
Snow,
Aye.
Stevens,
Aye.
Arivalo,
Aye.
Brereton,
Aye.
Flurry,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
McGee,
Aye.
Porter,
Aye.
10 in favor.
Motion is approved unanimously. Brings us to item D, number, excuse me, ordinance number 514H, a second reading. It's an ordinance amending sections 26-83 and 26-79 of the City of Belvedere Municipal Code. I will entertain a motion to approve.
Snow will make that motion.
Motion by Snow,
I'll second that.
second by Arivalo. Questions, comments, or further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes, please.
As you know, I prepared the amendments that are issued this evening in response to some issues we've had in the past with certain industries in the City of Belvedere. Classic example, the city attorney probably should have checked with the city clerk before making certain amendments to the code that impacts her department. In your packets this evening was a memo that I had drafted after consulting with the city clerk, it became pretty apparent that the modification to section 2679, which added a new paragraph that's found in Exhibit A of the ordinance, that required every single business in the city of Belvedere to file with the city clerk every single possible license that they may have before issuance of a BRL, would put a huge strain upon the city clerk's office and frankly a huge strain on certain industries in the city. Best way of example I can give you is a pharmacy that might have a few pharmacists working there, a bunch of pharmaceutical technicians working there and the like. Every year would have to get every license and file that with the city clerk. Another example might be a physician's care center in which they may have multiple physicians coming in on different times of the year to work there on a temporary basis. They'd have to find that physician's license along with all the nurses' license, lab tech licenses every year. So it appeared that it was just probably a lot for the city clerk's office to handle. It might put an undue burden upon the businesses in the city. So what we suggest is an amendment to Ordinance 514H, and specifically amending the second paragraph of Exhibit A to read, in the event the proposed business requires another license or permit to operate lawfully, the city clerk may require the applicant to provide copies of any such license or permit when applying for a BRL. The clerk shall not issue a BRL to an applicant unless such requested permits or licenses are provided. And what that does, it allows the clerk's office, if they get an application, to say, we've never dealt with this company before, we don't know who they are, they're new to the area, or they are operating in an industry with which we have had problems in the past, and then ask for the licenses. So the recommendation would be to amend Ordinance 514H, specifically Exhibit A, to replace the second paragraph as I just read.
Okay, do we have a motion yet? Sarah?
We do on the original, but
Okay.
now we need one on the amendment.
Okay, may I have a motion to amend? Motion by Fleury, may I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
Alderman from, second by Arivalo. Questions or comments concerning the amendment proposed, which is now on the floor?
Snow has a comment. So do we actually have a written version of this? Because is this the backside of the attached ordinance? Because I'm a little confused as to, because I thought I heard Mr. Drella say may, the clerk may require.
It was in a memo dated December 14th, 2020 that was in your packets.
It's in-
Okay, I got it.
Okay. Okay. Alderman
And
Port,
also, I'd like to bring up the fact that this is also changing the number of days from 60 to 10 days for which to do the closure or to bring action against an entity. That's one of the other significant things in this.
That's correct. That's in Exhibit B. That was the second section that was brought for first reading, and now it's second reading. And keep in mind that authorizes the institution of action before the circuit court. That has nothing to do with revocation of a license. That only applies where they've never gotten a license.
so if an action needs to be taken against a
I
business
have a
that is
question.
operating unlawfully, it gives us quicker recourse, i.e. some businesses that we do not want to see operating in the city. So do I have a motion to approve the amended ordinance?
You do.
I have
There's
a
a motion by
question.
Fleury, second by Arivalo.
Okay. Alderman Freeman.
Thank you. So, again, I have to point out the fact that in this ordinance, which I believe Attorney Drella can tell me when this actually was passed, I believe it was in 2017, that in Section 2683 says that any person who operates a business within the city without a valid business registration license shall be fined not less than $100 plus court costs or assessment per offense with each day or part thereof that a violation exists or continues. And I believe that we have ascertained that only approximately half of the businesses in Belvedere actually have obtained a business registration without penalty. Therefore, it seems to me that without enforcement of this business registration, which we have not been doing for the better part of 3 years, I don't think it's really worth the paper it's written on. And it seems to me that we're going to be just singling out certain businesses that, you know, I can shut you down because you don't have a business registration license, where that guy is going to say, all right, but you know what? The guy operating the business right next door to me doesn't have a business registration license at all. You know, we're going to take away this guy's registration license and shut him down, but the guy next door can go ahead and operate his business with no registration at all. So that to me is just crazy. That's basically either everybody has a business registration license. If they don't, they are penalized, or nobody has to have a business registration license. That's how I see it. So either we're going to start fining these people and making them get these registrations, or we need to repeal this ordinance, period. That's my thoughts.
Attorney Drella, do you have comments? Okay. Alderman Frank?
Well, I have a question for Attorney Drella. Is there something we're not being told why this is so important? All of a sudden, it popped up and, you know, we're changing it. Is there something that's happening that we're not being told?
I went through this extensively. I think, well, okay, first off, Mr. Mayor, we have a motion to amend on the floor that pertains specifically to the issue regarding whether or not the clerk may require other licenses at the time of filing. That's what's on the floor right now. Some of the questions that I'm being asked are alluding to the greater ordinance in both sections. And I'm happy to talk to that, but I just want to make sure we keep our proceedings straight.
I think the intent was to soften the amendment that we made so that if we have someone requesting, they have to provide, if they have other state licenses, that we need to be aware of the fact that they have those licenses. So we have a motion and a motion to amend, an amended motion on the floor. So all those in favor of approval of the amended motion, yes, Alderman Porter?
Well, I just had a quick question on what we're talking about here. If we change it to read shall or
No, may.
or may ask for it, does that also open up the city at all to a lawsuit if you ask some people for a license and some people you don't?
Whenever you have issues of discretion, there's always the chance that somebody's going to cry, why me and not them, as Alderman Friedman mentioned earlier. But no, not necessarily, yeah, especially if there's some rhyme or reason as to why you ask some and not others. For example, somebody that's new to the community or somebody of an area that we've had problems with in the past. There are lots of areas where, I hate to use administrative officials because the clerk is elected, but where officials are given discretion as to whether or not to enforce certain, or how certain regulations are enforced. So, no, not necessarily. Sure, some people might cry foul and complain, but it does not necessarily create liability to the city.
Additional questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the amended motion now on the floor will, when your name is called, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay.
Snow,
Aye.
Stevens,
No.
Arivalo,
Aye.
Brereton,
No.
Flurry,
Aye.
Frank,
No.
Freeman,
No.
McGee,
No.
Porter,
Aye.
Ratcliffe,
Aye.
5 in favor.
Okay, I need a point of clarification here because of something that Alderman Freeman said. So the intent of this is if we find someone who is violating something in our code and they do not have a business license, or they do have a business license, it's the intent that we then offer punitive measures. Is that correct?
Again, we're confusing what we're voting on.
Okay.
The only issue on the amendment is whether or not the city clerk can require the filing of licenses when somebody applies for a BRL. That's the only thing that's part of this amendment.
But the operative word is may.
Correct.
Okay, in that
Now,
case,
if the question goes to the greater, and I suggest I answer these questions once we get past this motion, because we have an existing BRL ordinance. It's a shall issue permit. The clerk is required to issue it to anybody that applies for it. Whether or not she knows the zoning is appropriate, whether or not she knows they have appropriate licenses or not, she could know for a fact that they don't have the licenses necessary, and she's still obligated to give them that license, as it's written today. This amendment gives her the discretion to say, you don't have a masseuse license, you don't have a lawyer's license, you don't have, can't think of another license off the top of my head. I'm not going to issue the permit. That's what the amendment does. The second part of the ordinance is to bring down the notice requirement from 60 days to 10 days. And I'd like to address that one after we finish the amendment, because I can explain that more fully.
okay, so I guess I have the duty to make the deciding vote, and I vote aye. Simply from this perspective, it gives the flexibility to the clerk that she may ask for proof of other licenses required by the state for operation of that business. All those in favor? Okay, but I want to, do you want to go ahead and talk about the other stuff or not? Okay, all those, okay. Excuse me? So we're voting now.
Mr. Mayor, there was a vote on the amendment 5-5.
Right.
I think you're
and
indicating
said-
aye.
I
Okay,
said
so-
aye.
So then it'd be appropriate to mention the amendment has passed.
Okay,
And now the further questions or comments on the ordinance as amended.
that's your question, is asking them if they want further questions or comments. The motion is amended. So does anybody have those?
And Mr. Mayor, if I can speak to, because there's been a lot of discussion about the 60 days versus 10-day time period. The ordinance that was originally established and proposed to the city council back in 2017 did not have a 60-day requirement. There isn't a single ordinance in the city of Belvedere that carries any kind of penalty where there's any notice requirement at all. If somebody's in violation of an ordinance, they can be issued a citation. It is the practice of the city, both myself, the Community Development Department, Property Maintenance Enforcement, and everything else, to give people fair notice and chance to come into compliance before assessing any fines or going to court on it. Now, the 60 days and 10 days doesn't have to do with somebody that's in violation of operating under their BRL, where they have one. They just get the typical notice and go before the committee, as was talked about by Alderman Porter a couple weeks ago. The 60-day and 10-day notice period only applies to businesses that never obtained the BRL. In that case, I'm required to give them 60 days notice. We had specifically a masseuse massage parlor in business a few years ago that did not have a BRL, business registration license. There were 4 of them in town at the time. 3 of them had it. We shut them down rather quickly. The 4th one, I had to get 60 days notice that they didn't have the BRL, And then when they didn't get the BRL within the 60 days, I had to file a complaint in circuit court to try and enforce that. At that point, they finally moved out of town. 60 to 80 days later. This just moves up that time frame. To Alderman Frank's earlier question. There were aldermen present that are on the council now that spoke to me outside of council meetings that want to know why I could not get them out earlier. And I pointed out that we have the 60-day requirement in our code. And the comment from those alderwomen was, we need to change that. I said, yeah, it might be a good idea, but I didn't want to do it. We're in the middle of possible litigation with a massage parlor. So we let it sit for a little while. We have had inquiries for new establishments of that type within the city of Belvedere in the last 2 months, which is why I thought it'd be important, number one, to say, hey, maybe we should require some licensing if we think it could be a problem. And two, maybe we should shorten that 60 days down to 10 days so that if they decide to open up without a license, we don't have to wait an entire quarter to do something about it. Now, from my perspective, this is just a policy call for the city council. This ordinance creates more work for the city clerk's office. It puts another arrow in the toolkit for your city attorney and your police department in trying to keep crime down within the city of Belvedere. But it's just another arrow. We can do it with other means, but this is an arrow that helps us do it. But the way it's written hamstrings us. That 60-day limit creates a hamstring.
Okay.
Alderman Snow would like to make a comment.
Please do.
And this is somewhat related, but slightly off topic in regards. I would be curious of all the people that applied for the grant money that we got a memo in the email today about being distributed, if all of the recipients and the applicants were all registered. Just tossing that out there that somebody needs to go through the list and verify that. Thank you.
If I could answer that, one of the requirements that they had to submit with their grant application was a business license or a state license of some sort. So we did have documentation regarding their business.
Okay.
I have a comment.
Please proceed. Alderman Freeman, please proceed.
Thank you. I would like to request that this business registration ordinance 514H be put on a future agenda for discussion of repeal.
Duly noted.
Is that a motion to postpone, Mr. Mayor?
Hmm?
Is that a motion to postpone?
Just postpone what?
She referenced this ordinance,
Okay.
just the business registration in general ordinance.
Alderman Freeman, are you making a motion?
No, I just asked that it be put on a future agenda for discussion.
Okay. Madam Clerk, where are we?
Take a roll call vote on the ordinance as amended.
Okay. May I now proceed with the amended ordinance? All those in favor of voting up the amended ordinance now on the floor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. Alderman
Stephen?
Porter.
We're voted on the second part, right? The part with the changing the days now, is that correct? Because we've already voted on the first part.
It's all part of the same ordinance. So the amendment includes the changes to the materials that have to be submitted to the clerk's office. And the second part is the 60 down to 10. But this vote is for the entire package. It's all part of the same ordinance.
Everything that was included in your update that was in your packet. We've now voted up the amendment, and we're voting on the amended ordinance now. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay.
Stevens?
No.
Arivalo?
Aye.
Brereton,
No.
Flurry,
Aye.
Frank,
No.
Freeman,
No.
McGee,
Aye.
Porter,
Aye.
Ratcliffe. Snow,
Aye.
Ordinance is approved.
6 in favor.
The ordinance is approved by a vote of 6-4. Which brings us to item E, ordinance 515H, a second reading, an ordinance amending section 14-152 of the City of Belvedere Municipal Code. May I have a motion to approve? Motion
Snow
by,
will make that motion.
I have a motion by Frank and a second by Snow. Questions, comments, or further discussion concerning the motion on the floor?
So just so we can have clarity, this is changing the number of gaming establishments from 30 to 40.
That is correct. Additional questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval will, when your name is called, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay.
Arivalo,
Aye.
Brereton,
No.
Flurry,
No.
Frank,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
McGee,
Aye.
Porter,
Aye.
Ratcliffe. Snow,
Aye.
Stevens,
Aye.
8 in favor.
Motion is approved, 8-2. Thank you. Under number 10, new business, these are silent readings. They're first readings. I'll read them in the record for the folks at home. Ordinance 516H, a first reading ordinance granting a special use to allow indoor commercial entertainment video gaming within the central business district at 120 Buchanan Street. Ordinance Part B, ordinance 517H, a first reading, an ordinance authorizing the transfer of abandoned properties to the Northern Illinois Land Bank Authority. Item C, ordinance 518H, a first reading, an ordinance temporarily abating abandonment of liquor licenses and video gaming licenses within the city of Belvedere. Those will be brought back for discussion in a second reading. Under D, we have Resolution 2025-2020, a resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement for geographical information services with Boone County. May I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Arivalo. May I have a second, please? Second by Fleury. Questions, comments, or further discussion concerning the motion now on the floor? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval will, when your name is called, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay.
Brereton,
Aye.
Flurry,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
McGee,
Aye.
Porter,
Aye.
Ratcliffe. Snow,
Aye.
Stevens,
Aye.
Arivalo,
Aye.
10 in favor.
Motion is approved unanimously. Which brings us to motions forwarded from the Committee of the Whole, Building, Planning, Zoning, and Public Works of December 14th, 2020. Motions will be presented by Chairman Porter. Chairman Porter, you now have the floor.
Okay, motion to approve the Courthouse Square Area 3 intensive survey.
Motion out of committee. Questions, comments, or further discussion concerning the motion now on the floor? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval will, when your name is called, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay.
Flurry,
Aye.
Frank,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
McGee,
Aye.
Porter,
Aye.
Ratcliffe. Snow,
Aye.
Stevens,
Aye.
Arivalo,
Aye.
Brereton,
Aye.
10 in favor.
Motion is approved unanimously. Thank you, Chairman Porter. Next, we have motions of public safety, which will be presented by Chairman Brereton. Chairman Brereton, you have the floor.
Thank you. B, motion to authorize the Belvedere Police Department to enter into an agreement with CDS Technologies for $109,247 for body-worn cameras and approve an expenditure of $59,247 for the remainder of the agreement cost to be divided up between the Belvedere Police Department auction account, which is $45,000, and drug operations account, which is $14,247.
Motion out of committee. Questions, comments, or further discussion concerning the motion now on the floor? Alderman Porter, please proceed.
Okay, for Chief Woody, I just wanted to know, these body cameras, these do have audio in them, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad to hear that, because that makes all the difference in the world, especially with this latest thing with the Channel 13. The audio made all the difference in the world deciding whether there was any issues or not. And I personally stand behind the officers based on that audio. I think the actions were correct.
Additional questions or comments?
I have a question.
Marcia Freeman, please proceed.
Thank you. I believe that these body cameras are long overdue, and I'm grateful that we're getting them. They not only protect the public, but our police department as well. My question, Chief Woody, is does this cover all of the costs for the cameras and the software that we need? And does this also include the $50,000 donation that we got for body cameras? So the total cost of this would be actually have been $159,247.
No, ma'am. The total cost is $109,247. If you subtract that $50,000 donation, that brings the city's portion of that to $59,247, which we then divided up between the two accounts.
Perfect. Thank you.
Additional questions or comments concerning the motion now on the floor? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval will, when your name is called, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay.
Frank?
Aye.
Freeman?
Aye.
McGee?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Ratcliffe?
Aye.
Snow?
Aye.
Stevens?
Aye.
Arivalo?
Aye.
Brereton?
Aye.
Flurry?
Aye.
10 in favor.
Motion is approved unanimously. Item C.
Item C, motion to accept the donations from Cosmopolitan Club, Casey's General Store, and Roberta Eichstead to the Belvedere Police Department totaling $1,350 for Feed the Need food drive.
Questions or comments? Further discussion concerning the motion now on the floor? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval will, when your name is called, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay.
Freeman?
Aye.
McGee?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Ratcliffe?
Aye.
Snow?
Aye.
Stevens?
Aye.
Arivalo?
Aye.
Brereton?
Aye.
Flurry?
Aye.
Frank?
Aye.
10 in favor.
Motion is approved unanimously. That brings us to item number 11, adjournment. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. May I have that motion, please? Motion by Fleury, second by
I'll second that.
Arivalo. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Are any opposed? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.